This is Pastor T with another edition of Connecting the Dots Unscripted. Today, I want to talk about the attack on women in our country. That women's rights, a woman's right to make her own medical choices and reproductive decisions is being stolen in broad daylight. And then women are being criminalized, and physicians who provide services for them are being criminalized for doing something, for procedures that have been legal in this country for the past half century. To the point where a 10-year-old girl who was a rape victim had to leave her state of Ohio to go to a neighboring state, Indiana, to receive an abortion, and again, a 10-year-old, so that she would not have to carry the rapist's baby to term. And then there's some states that want to grant parental rights to rapists, so that even after someone has violated a woman, or in this case, a girl, a child, an elementary school child, that a rapist could potentially, depending upon the state, have some say in what's going on in that child's life. If that makes any sense to you, please explain it to the rest of us. That is insane. It's also ridiculous that these people would say, well, she should just carry the baby to term. People act as if pregnancy is a risk-free enterprise. Pregnancy is dangerous. It doesn't have to cause a lot of negative outcomes, but potentially dangerous for a healthy adult woman. At any given time, you could end up with preeclampsia, gestational diabetes. And so while you're pregnant, you become diabetic, and whether you continue to be diabetic afterward, who knows? Preeclampsia, where your blood pressure is just out of control, that can happen to a healthy adult woman. Pregnancy is a huge risk of life to a child, a 10-year-old child who has no more business carrying a baby than I do, okay? And so they forced the family of this girl to leave her state to go to a neighboring state to have a procedure that she should have done in her own best interest, the best interest of her own life and health and safety, and her own sanity, thinking about this 10-year-old girl walking around pregnant with carrying the baby of someone who violated her. I don't know why that makes sense to anyone else, and why women's rights, and in this instance, children's rights, are being impinged upon right and left by Republican state legislatures and a Republican Supreme Court, and now a Republican Congress is trying to get in the act. What have women done to deserve all of these attacks? There's a bill that's been proposed in the state of Missouri, God help us, that says that a pregnant woman is not allowed to get a divorce. Excuse me? If a woman is pregnant, is married and she's pregnant or trying to get a divorce, that's a sign of something. Like maybe the husband is abusive or something like that, and she's trying to get the heck out, and they're saying, no, you can't leave. Leave women alone. But that gets me back to what I said in an earlier installment of Connecting the Dots Unscripted. Women are a majority in this country, 51, 52% of the country. There are more women than men, more females than males in this country. And it's time for women and their allies to stop being silent and allowing this to happen to them, and stop just doing petitions and marches and rallies. What you need to do is go out and vote. This is 2022. There are many state legislatures that are up for election, and everybody in Congress and the Senate are up for 1/3 of the Senate. Everybody in the United States House of Representatives up for election. Governors are up for election. County executives and mayors up for election. Vote. And if people don't have policies that make sense for you and your life, if they're trying to take away your rights as a human being, that you don't get to make decisions, I dare a legislative body to try and put the type of hindrances and limits on men to make their own medical decisions. They wouldn't think of it, but the same old men who would do this to women would not do that to themselves. So as I said before, there needs to be an awakening of a sleeping giant, not another petition, not another march or rally, other than marching to the polls to vote. Show up in huge numbers in what they call an off year, an off election year, midterm election. That's not the case. Anytime the polls are open, you need to show up and vote these clowns out and protect yourself, protect your body, defend your rights. It doesn't make sense that a 10-year-old should have to flee her own state to be relieved of carrying the baby of a rapist, someone who raped a girl who was either 9 at the time or 10 when she got pregnant. Our country is better than this, and we need to stand up for folks, stand up for ourselves, push back against this madness in this election year while we can. This is Pastor T, over and out.